You know, one of the addictions that I want to talk about that is an amazingly seductive one, and one that we often lose sight of, is the whole concept of an addiction to the future. And what that looks like is when we say things like, everything will be fantastic when this happens. And when this happens, those words, that means we're talking about something in the future, not right here today. You know, so and it's so easy to happen. Do you know that with the former church that I was a co-founder of, one of the things that happened during the sermon is I was up there talking, and I was relating one of the parables, and I was relating that with a quote from a religious quote, and then I was talking about a spiritual concept about being in the present moment, and all of a sudden it dawned on me that just prior to getting into this part of my sermon, I was talking about how we are going to be such a successful community, a spiritual religious community, when these certain things happen. And I was talking about it, and it was going to be way down the road. And in the middle of the sermon, I said, oh my gosh, I have been so wrapped up in the last 6 months of how great everything will be when this happens and this changes. And I realized I got sucked in. It was the seductiveness of the future. And you know, we all fall prey to it, but sometimes it's so subconscious that we don't even realize that it is tearing us apart. What do I mean by that? You know, when we say things like, well, as soon as I get through this divorce and it's all over with and it's done with and everything is fine and finalized, I'll be so fantastic. And in actuality, looking ahead, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? In a common sense, logical way, but it's an illusion. It's an illusion, because what that probably means is that we're not going to learn from our current mistake. We're focusing so much on the future. You know, when my kids go to school, it's going to be so great to have all this free time. And so what happens? We miss that whole concept of our kids growing up. It's really, really true. When I finally get the money I really want, and I'll be honest with you, I've fallen victim to this multiple times over my life. You know, when I'm finally at this certain income, like, take a big breath, everything is going to be perfect. And we know that that's an addiction, a seductive addiction to the future. Because when we're in that mode, once again, we're missing this moment right here. Now, you might be listening to this going, but isn't it important to be divorced if you're in a lousy relationship? Isn't it important to make more money if you need to make more money? And isn't it important to look forward to the future and to have, you know, when your kids are out, you're going to have more free time for yourself? And that's the illusion, and that's how the addiction gets us, because we start to rationalize why it's okay to focus so far ahead. You know, when we say it's going to be so great when I get out of this lousy whatever it is, or the lousy car, the home, the job, and everything that we're talking about, that means we're taking our mind off the present moment. You know, when I finally move through this anger and I don't have resentments anymore, it's going to be so great. When I finally find God, it's going to be so great. And I want to tell you that there's an illusion in that that's very powerful and seductive. And it keeps us hoping for that something down the road. And here's the kicker. It keeps us fully out of this present moment. Which means that while you're in the divorce, there could be something that day going on that's absolutely stunning. It might be, you know, an animal on the side of the road, or a sunset or a sunrise, or it might be something just really beautiful that we don't pay attention to. It could be a compliment that someone gives us that we just blow off because, you know, when I work with people that need to lose weight, I say need to lose weight because of health conditions, and they look in the mirror one day and their doctor says you need to lose weight because of this health condition. They go, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I've gotten this large. And then they say, you know what, everything is going to be perfect when I'm back to a size, whatever the size is, right? And so we stay so focused on that future goal that we miss what's going on here. And for many of you watching this, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. It should hit you right here. You know, that constantly focusing on the future, that things are going to be better when this happens financially, when this happens relationship-wise, when this happens with my home, with my car, with my career. When we stay so focused on that, we are missing out on what's going on right now. Now, all the saints and sages from the beginning of time have been trying to get our attention in regards to the concept of mindfulness. And while it's a radical and wild approach for most of us to think about, to be extremely ecstatically happy. Now listen to this. extremely, ecstatically happy for where you are right now, regardless of how down it might seem or how ridiculous this quest that I'm asking you to go on seems, means you break the addiction of the seduction of the future, and you will start to reap the benefits right now, not when something changes. Think about that, okay? Because if you can live in that ecstasy right now, it reminds me of the story of St. Francis of Assisi, that when he got into working for God, his calling, spreading the message, he automatically found, within a very short period of time, that his trials and tribulations were nothing. Like, people around him were saying, oh my gosh, look at you. You know, you're struggling here financially, you're struggling with food, you're struggling with clothing, you're struggling. He had given up all that concern and care because he was so focused on the present. Think about that. Share this with your friends and family. Go ahead and join our YouTube account as well, so that you can get all these videos sent right to your YouTube email box the minute they come out. And if I can help you at all in these type of concepts, maybe changing your whole belief systems of what it means to be successful, contact me at talkdavid.com. Talkdavid.com. Okay? Have a fabulous moment. This one, right now. Bye-bye.